Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Z-ries. And last week, I took a break from the series to focus on myself and my own feelings. And this week, I want to share with you the stuff I realized about being ready to date again. So, breaking up is never easy to do. It's one of the toughest situations anyone can go through, and sadly, it happens to everyone. And figuring out how to know if you're ready to date again is even harder. But life goes on, and whether it feels like it or not, and sooner or later, you start to feel the urge to pick yourself up again and date again. Now, this all depends on your current state and your past relationship. For some, it might be easier to get back in the dating scene, while for others, it might take longer than expected. But then again, it's not impossible. So, how do we know when we're ready to date again? I have a few pointers for that. So, number one, when you start becoming your top priority again. Now, this is a huge step in the right direction. You need to start feeling like you again before you can make any serious commitments with another person. There are plenty of ways to achieve this feeling, but it really comes down to allowing time to do what it does best. One of the best ways to gain this confidence back is to actually allow yourself to grieve the relationship. It's natural, and it's essentially the next step for you to allow yourself to be top priority again in your life. Soon after, you will continue to focus on what personally makes you happy. And once you can start focusing on that, the confidence will just start to radiate off of you. You feel yourself loving you, despite all of the flaws, the pain, and the mistakes that you made back then. You'll know what you want, you'll feel that openness to allow someone to come in. Okay? Alright, so pointer number 2, you don't feel like you need someone else. Many times we rely on relationships when we feel down or insecure about our own abilities. We count on another person to lift us up and make us better, but this is unrealistic and toxic. It's not healthy to hope that someone else can fulfill you. Until you realize that a partner is not responsible for your happiness and it is not their job to make you happy, you're most likely not ready to date again. You should not burden other people and yourself like that. Be happy with yourself first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Pointer number 3. You feel that you are available. So just because you are available to date doesn't necessarily mean you have the time to do so. Out of the respect for yourself and for the other person, it's best to date when you are not just trying to squeeze in a 30-minute speed date. While it's never a bad idea to just date for the fun of it, you might want to make sure that dating isn't going to add more stress to your already heavy workload. There's a difference between finding time and making time. Make sure you're ready to commit to the plans that you can make with another person, and you know you're ready when you're intentionally putting in effort to get to know someone. This would also be a plus point for you, as this would show respect for the person that you would be dating. Pointer number 4. When you've learned from the past. Maybe you dated someone toxic. Whatever it was, you need to learn from it. You need to learn from it. We have a habit of falling back into familiar patterns because it feels familiar. It's comforting. You already know how it feels. And if you don't make it clear that you don't want that again, you'll probably fall right back in. You have to learn from your past and the mistakes that you have made, and don't just recognize it and move on. Pick out the warning signs that come with the qualities that you don't want and stick with it. Don't be marupok. Maybe we need some mistakes too. It takes such a clear vision to look back and realize that the other person isn't always the problem. It can be hard to see what we did wrong in the relationship, but once you can see clearly without any bias, we can avoid repeating patterns that can lead to the same problems that you had back then. So don't go into dating blindly if you do not realize that it really does take two to tango and that you are not perfect. If you're not so sure yet about that, spend some time to figure it out first. So with all of that, I would like to say that it's okay to feel vulnerable after your heart was broken. It takes courage and strength to get back in the dating field, but it's worth it. It might take time, but in the end, someone will be there for you when you least expect it. Keep on doing you first. And when you feel like the time is right, then you will know that you're ready to take the next step and be in a relationship. So I hope you guys learned something from that. You guys make good choices, and you guys have a great week.